Yo, 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 Tep. Mistrade, Matt Davio, HFR from Earth, the Matrix. Matt, I gotta tell you, I have human fatigue. Human fatigue, Matt.
Hey, Bob, when Bloomberg does a headline article this morning on the mental health status of the United States and how many people have increasingly sought help in this country in the last year and a half, that tells you something.
Staggering.
No, meaning I think, I think the exhaustion is, we've crossed the exhaustion levels of hearing about jabs and stuff every day. Like, can we just have I want to put a mandate out there for no COVID talk for the next month.
Hallelujah. Man, let's talk sports to begin with, because we love sports.
We love sports. And tonight, by the way, is the game, not last night.
Yes, I know. I saw you in your tweets. The Field of Dreams is tonight in a cornfield in Iowa. Iowa, a place to grow. New Hampshire, live free or die. I'm not sure which one I like more. Oh, yeah, I do. I like New Hampshire state. I think it's the best state motto going, New Hampshire. Live free or die. And let me have the right. Everybody had the right to die until COVID, apparently. Anyway, man, a better place, a $50 bet at BetMGM. Again, another competitor of Penn Gaming and Barstool Sports. Lots of them. But this $50 bet was at BetMGM, definitely BetMGM. That the 2022 NBA Finals would be a matchup between the Houston Rockets and the Detroit Pistons. The odds were 10,000 to 1. I thought 1,000,000 to 1 would be better. Eric here actually thought 100,000 to 1. Matt, I asked you coming in, name me a Detroit Piston, because I cannot name a Chicago Bull, a single one.
Yeah, and I said the number one pick, Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State, and also Isaiah Livers. Those are.
And do you know their coach? Who's coaching? No. Do you know where they play?
Yeah, they play at the new Little Caesars Arena downtown Detroit.
No longer the Palace in Auburn Hills.
And they've been away from there for 3 or 4 years.
All right. All right. And I saw another tweet that said the headline in a Sports Illustrated article was, can the Bulls get home court advantage in the East this year? Like, I didn't even know that. I can't name a Chicago Bull. I had no idea that Sports Illustrated thinks so highly of them that they could capture the number 1 seed. I mean, I think Milwaukee still plays in the East, don't they?
Yeah, they want,
yeah. I don't know what to think anymore, Matt.
They're technically the East. Hey, have you seen, I wanted to ask you this. I started watching last night, the Val Kilmer documentary, or
I have not. I heard his son is doing the narrating because he's
sounds just like him. Yeah, it sounds just like him. And I didn't know that. I was wondering, I'm like, who is reading, because they kind of, go between his actual voice, which has been decimated by the throat cancer. And then it's a wild. I watched probably the first hour and a half. I didn't finish it. It was late.
Kevin Spacey, his high school classmate. Yes.
I didn't know that.
I think so. I got to tell you, Val Kilmer.
He's from California. So
yes. Yeah. I watched an interview with him, and it was very important in my trading career, in my evolution of my trading career, because he talked about struggling as an actor until he gave himself the part before he went for the audition. Like, nobody was going to give him the part until he actually gave himself the part.
Well, and he in this film, he shows he's got tons of video, coverage of his life outside of film. And there was a moment in that where he was talking about how he would basically do the tryouts on film different, and they were showing all these different roles and how he would play them, and it was interesting. It was really interesting. I'm not a huge Val Kilmer fan, like
Yeah, he's so great in The Saint. I love that movie.
well, it's funny because, somebody said Tombstone. I'm like, oh yeah, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, he's really
And
good.
people love him.
I have
And
not
people
yet
love
begun
it.
to defile myself.
And again, I have never seen it. And a lot of people, oh my God, you haven't seen that movie, right? So
yeah, I'm one of those. I mean, I think we should stop the fucking broadcast right now and you should go watch Tombstone.
well,
Matt,
might be the
you
best
shared
use
this,
of my time.
and this is sometimes our friend Longplex loves to talk about trading with epic fails. Let's watch it. Whoa!
Yeah, but look at the shrapnel from
How about the guy got up after the flip?
And look
Like
at the
he
girl.
almost
She's
landed
all
again.
excited. She's excited that all her friends just died. Did you see her banging on the back of the truck? I think they
Currently trading.
Again.
Currently on the trading floor. Actually, there's nothing going on. Let's watch it one more time.
No, but watch the girl. Watch the girl in the truck who's
I know the
videoing
girl
it.
is great, but how about this? Wait a second. Watch this flip. He
Look
flips
at her.
that guy.
She videoed. Oh my God.
Almost gets up.
Oh. Well, the guy, the second guy that got taken out actually stood for a little bit. Then he got drilled again. Oh, man.
Oh my God. Is that freaking awesome? I got to escape that. Get out of here.
Hey, I
Stop.
speaking of train wrecks, I've been posting a lot and we've been seeing these a lot. The famous people and their family selling their mansions. What do you make of this?
Well, I got to tell you, man, if
what do you make? I mean, somebody's buying them. So, but a lot of these famous types and their families are selling their properties.
I think that they're smart to sell. They can always buy back something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buy back better. That's what they're thinking, Matt. Buy back better. Listen, I'm quick. I'm quick on the trigger. I'm quick on the trigger with buy back better.
Right.
HFR, hashtag that shit. Buy back better. Sell your fucking mansion right now and buy back better when the shit goes and hits the fan.
That's a nice place. I like it.
How about Leo? And he's I thought they were filming this movie, The Devil in the White City. I don't know what happened. I thought they've been filming it for like 20 years now. I don't know what the fuck happened.
What is that? A South African epic? What's that?
No. It's about the Chicago World's Fair and the first documented serial killer. Brutal story and based on truth. Anyway, all right, man, let's talk about price discovery. Let me bring up something that we could actually talk about price discovery.
Sure.
That's what we're supposed to do here. And that was not, we'll go here. Bill Cosby pleads the fifth. How is this price discovery? Sexual assault case.
Well, the reason why it is, Bob, it's a cheesy way of getting it, but it supposedly took place at the Playboy Mansion.
Yes, definitely at the Playboy Mansion, where he definitely maybe date raped somebody. Fucking Creepazoid Central. Bill, I don't know what's worse, seeing Bill Cosby or OJ out there. And the OJ article about being afraid to go to California because the killer's still loose. Anyway, Playboy, we actually have price discovery on Playboy.
We talked about this during the meme stock days of 6 months ago. And
Wall Street Boys, the bros, the Reddit bros.
Said, come back to us in 3 months and you'll have the right side of the parabola. And we're almost there. We went all the way, Bob, from, the low of 11 to 63. Playboy, right? Playboy doesn't even have any assets. They don't have the mansion anymore. They don't have anything. So I think it was resurrected. I think it went BK and somebody bought the brand and now they, went public and they sold on this ramp for sure. Whoever they were that took this thing back public, it's still worth $1 billion, which is shocking because, give me a break. Nobody is there even a physical Playboy magazine anymore?
I am not sure. Probably online.
Anyways, Playboy, the point is these parabolic destroyers, as I like to call them, they're some of the best trades. They all pay off. And so we just keep talking about these. And this one, again, has already been schmeezed. It's at $25 today, down another percent. And you can see it's getting into this hole. It's going to move quickly now down to that next level around 20. And it'll eventually, over time, between now and the next year, it'll be back here at $10.
Right on.
Enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride, folks. All right, Matt. We had promised ourselves that we will never talk anything COVID again, but there is still some price discovery to talk about. And what I wanted to point out was the narratives, right? And so let's bring up this one first. All right, the whoops from the CDC. They reported this continued parabolic move in cases, and then they said, "Oh, sorry, we were aggregating several days together to give those numbers." And then Florida's health department called them out and said, "What are you guys doing? You're not even close to what our data is." We got a little bit of a right side on a parabola, and nobody that's selling vaccines wants to see that. And then we talked about yesterday, Matt. We talked about the airlines, right?
Mhm.
And why don't I have the? Oh, I got to tell you, somebody needs to fire me. Let me see if I. But the U.S. Marines, right? The Marine Corps, the Corps. Matt, a couple of things here on nuance. You got the Secretary of the Armed Forces saying we're going to vaccinate everybody, and now the chain of command is breaking here in so many places, right? And you see it in school board meetings across the country. You see it in companies and cities, and this mask mandate now. The head of the Marines saying no mandatory vaccinations for my Marines. You want him on that wall, Matt. You need him on that wall. And then they asked the White House for their comment on it, Matt. Matt, you're not paying attention. And Jen she just stuck her tongue out at the Marines. I don't think you want to do that.
Speaking since we're kind of, walking into this, what about this? You're talking about the Marines and the jab. Let's go over to what's going on in the, in the Afghan, withdrawal of all troops, like haphazardly and immediately by Biden. We've been there, 25 years cultivating the heroin business. And so is Hunter Biden in charge of the heroin cartel now? Like, what's going on there?
I don't know.
But he's pleading because he has no troops left over there. He's going, can you just please whisper and allow our 4,000 people to leave?
Talk about.
Can't we?
All right, man, let's get to Moderna and the stock, because there's been a pump, and you're actually eyeballing some places.
Actually, I'm going to do a little follow through on two things. We'll talk Moderna because the bounce was due. But the other thing I want to talk about is the opposite, which is the sell was due on your favorite coin that you were suggesting, people look at yesterday. And, I'm just going to point it out that it's a 10% haircut from
in a day. You know what just blows me away? Because how long have we been doing this? And we show 10 and 20 and 30% haircuts routinely on individual stocks and issues. Yet,
and I told you yesterday, you got to be a seller of Coinbase, especially with, Bitcoin. All you got to do is, again,
we for sure pointed out that $300 level.
If you're trading Bitcoin, just trade, you don't need to trade the stocks. Or if you're not trading Bitcoin, use the levels that we provide you on Bitcoin to trade the stocks. One or the other, right? You don't need to do both. You don't need to have exposure to Bitcoin stocks and exchanges and Bitcoin. You're just doubling your, you're amplifying your position if you do that. But Bitcoin, again, we've talked about this 4680 level now for the last, this week, this Monday, Tuesday. And again, it banged off at once, banged off at twice. And today back down to, 43,000s. We've dragged into the 43.8 level. So, down $3,000 from where I suggested we sell yesterday, Bob, 4680. Pretty much there.
300 a car on the micro Bitcoin futures at the CME. Definitely CME.
Yeah, so $300 for a quick little trade, 1 day trade. That's not too bad on one contract. It's not bad.
Not at all. Micro trading, baby.
For a little. And then, again, if you look at all these names, MicroStrategies fell off. Again, let me just run through them. Riot, Mara, right? They're all, so if you want to trade Bitcoin and know where the levels are and then hit these stocks, because they move in the same manner. I mean, every one of these paid if you were doing your homework. Now, that being said, the other thing that I find kind of interesting out there today, Bob, is we've had a hit on some of these, and I honestly don't know what the news is, but Micron has been schmeezed the last 4 days. And
Now these are chips, yeah?
chip stocks, and Micron's a big, it's a big one. And look at this. This is 1, 2, 3. Today's the 4th day for this thing. It doesn't move typically. And we had this other move here where we went from 72.60 into the because they had earnings last week, into 83. And again, post earnings, this is telling me that people aren't feeling good about the economy right now. This is what, remember, the market is forward looking. And when you have earnings events like we did, in 2020, I think what was happening is you could have an earnings event and they would beat, and your options, the call options you bought, went through the roof. That is not happening, particularly this earnings season. Matter of fact, I can't think of one that did that. It's pretty much earnings, they're great, and then they sell off. That has been across the board the mantra. And I'm pointing this out because, Micron is, they got chips and everything. And this runaway gap down that you've seen today is not a good sign. And there's plenty to go, right? Because we went from August of last year, when this thing was trading 42, up to pushing right around 100 here this spring, the first earnings. And now we just had the second earnings. And, they were fine. Again, if you look at the numbers here, they were expecting, 172. They were at $1.88, beat by 10%. So they're not bad earnings. The numbers are great, but going forward, it looks a lot tougher, Bob. It looks a lot tougher. And I mean, just look at the inflationary, policies that this administration is continuing to push, and the nonstop jab talk. That's all we, it's either jab talk or some, BS, infrastructure that has very little infrastructure. It's just a huge tax bill is all that is. I mean, who's paying for all this?
So what other, what do you have another chip?
Yeah,
company?
I got another chart on the chip side. We can look at, let's just look at a couple of the big ones. Lam Research was down pretty big. And you can see that. Let me factor out a little bit here in time. But again, this was trading the first week of August, so about 10 days ago, at 658, all the way down here in short time. So this is, again, how quickly these things go up and then they go down. Not a good sign. And when these things roll over, they roll over hard. So that's a big move, 5% move down in Lam Research, another big one. Intel, we can look at, is down today significantly. Again, these, for these stocks, they kind of climbed out of the hole into the earnings season and now are rolling back over. Not a good sign. Intel, and then let's look at AMD and Advanced Micro. Again, peaked up here. They all peaked right around the 1st of August. That was August 4th. Into the earnings, 122 down to 106. So again, you're talking a 12, 13, 14%, pullback already.
And not only that, now fully in the meat of the Galaga, and a full Galaga below available.
Right. Matter of fact, any types of rallies here, you'd be a seller is how you should be looking at these right now.
I just find it amazing that the indexes have held in so strong.
Yeah. In the meantime, absolutely. We're at all-time highs on the SPOs. Again, today, we're up there at, where are we trading? I think right just shy of 44.50 today. So we just keep going up. And yeah, it is strange. Like I said to you, I have nothing but gut to go on here, Bob. And to me, my gut's telling me you don't want to be long. I don't know what it is. It's the season. Like they're just hanging in there, trapping people right now. But we're basically going up 2 to 4 points, to the new high, just like we did again today. Our high was 44.44, and today we get up to 44, 48s, 49s, right? So we're just running to these same numbers. And look at this, it's just inchworming up. I mean, again, SPOs are not tradable right now.
I'm with you on that. I am with you on
don't trade
that.
them. So don't trade them. So don't. At least the NASDAQ is moving 100 points wide, 150 some days. There's some movement in there. So again, this is the nuance that I believe you have to look at when you're trading. Like, our job as traders is to trade what is moving and
to trade what's in front of you or not trade.
And also understand what the regimes are. meaning markets aren't always the same. Like I just talked about with, call options working in all of 2020 and people printing money that way. Well, that's not working in 2021. It hasn't worked this entire year. Now, selling call options has worked okay. So if you were able to pick up on the nuance of that and that the market's not going up on every earnings report, and you don't have to hit every one, but if you hit the ones, miss the first week, you get the second week, it's paying pretty nicely. Wall Street is consistent and the regime changes. They're subtle, but you need to pick up on them as a trader. You need to be able to find, how is the market trading today as a trader? That's our job. That's the hard thing about this. Not every strategy works all the time. And when it stops working, you don't keep doing it for 2 years because it worked the 2 years previous. But
no, you're right, because people get stubborn on that.
But unfortunately, yeah, they do that. And they watch their 100 grand go to 300 and then back to 75. And
that's a perfect stubbornness. I love this tweet because I did not know it was this weekend was the 50th anniversary of Nixon's departure from a dollar gold peg. And we talked about this before coming in here. I mean, this is, I don't know how these two things are causal. It looks more correlative to me. I don't know how the dollar peg, and maybe somebody could come on and enlighten me. I'm not that intelligent, so somebody come on and enlighten me.
Well, as I said to you before the show, I don't understand the data very well in this one. I don't know exactly what we're looking at. I don't know.
So it's saying that compensation has not kept up with productivity since this date. Mm-hmm. It seemed to have moved in tandem, compensation and productivity until then. I don't know if that's just a decoupling of the value of the dollar, if that's what's going on, the relative value of the dollar.
Right. I mean, to me, it seems something definitely changed.
Something definitely changed.
Yeah.
More importantly, I think, talking about what we came into this segment with, if you are still telling me that gold is a great hedge against inflation, if that worked for 50 years before 1971, it certainly hasn't worked this year. And holding on.
It hasn't worked in 12 years. I mean, when it spiked up to 2000, we haven't gone back.
And I know you have been, you're a don't on most everything. Let's just be honest. I mean, in fact, if you want Matt to be long something, you got to flip the chart upside down so he can sell it. You got to find the corollary, Anyway, bring up the gold because you have been spot on not wanting to partake in the gold bug chatter for months and months now.
Well, I mean, we had a huge rally, that started again back in 18, and that's when gold had been killed again there. And it makes sense. Like somebody knew that the Wuhan virus was going to get let out, so they started buying it, a year ahead of time. Somebody knew.
That is deep down a rabbit hole, but continue.
I'm just saying.
Continue. That's fine.
I'm responding to the price action. You can see it right here.
There was something going to happen.
1 year ago, somebody started buying it and they've never stopped. And then until we peaked in August of last year. So it has been a year since we traded this 2100 level. We just ticked down here and took out all these stops here at 1670. This week when we opened on Sunday, that was really weird, but they were trying to prove a point there. But that didn't shake. It didn't really change much. It just went out and ran the stops that were sitting there on a Sunday, but they weren't able to take out this level. So great. We got support at 1675, Bob, on the NASDAQ, or on the gold turd nuggets, but I still don't see anything in here that is, really changing the way I feel. It's not feel. I just go by what the market gives me. And right now there's nothing positive about this chart. And when 1675 does go, the next levels are 1515 and then next levels 1363, point of controls back here at 1280. I still contend we will trade 1,000 before we trade 2,500 on gold.
You heard it here first. Market Vitals exclusive.
Now, I also was saying that back here that we'd get to 1,000, and guess what? Last time we traded there was, the lowest was 1055, and that was back in 2015. So it's been a while, but we never did trade 1,000 back there. We got close because I was saying the same thing back here. But I think we've got to break the 1,000. The 1,000 is like a huge number, especially for the Indian population. you know, in India. They own a ton of gold over there, and those hands need to be shaken out, and I think that will happen. I think it'll happen.
All right,
And,
man.
but to your point, you know, I think Bitcoin has kind of replaced. It's like the doom and gloom crowd, right? They buy gold or they buy Bitcoin because the world's coming to an end with those folk. And you know, if you buy into that scenario, that's really what they believe. But I just don't. You know, again, I think it's a shifting of assets, and you know, more people. You know, the good news is more people are involved in markets now. So when they get their butts schmeezed in the Bitcoin, eventually, when it becomes the pet rock that it is and sinks. I love just saying that.
I know you do. I know you do. All right, man. I just wanted to talk about one last ambiguity. Because you don't get to, I mean, I remember hearing this a billion times when I was a kid, right? You don't get to get it both ways. You don't get to get it both ways. So Chicago's top doctor says Lollapalooza was not the COVID-19 super spreader that some people feared it might be. All those people packed in on each other, 1,000 times more transmissible variant available to be distributed.
Well, Bob, they don't want to offend the woke 20-year-olds that are going to Lollapalooza. So,
how do you get to get it both
however,
ways?
I'm sure the South Dakota, you know, motorcycle rally was.
Oh, of course, Sturgis
was definitely it was a super spreader event. So
I'm just so sick of it all. All right, maybe we should make a pact. We never talk about it again. I'm ready to turn the page.
I can't say there's going to be so much you know, good bullshit coming out that we can't say that. There's just so many frauds and lies about this stuff that we have to expose. So yeah.
And you get one last thing, Matt. We were talking about Moderna, and you made good money early in the week on it. And let's just bring it back up and give your thoughts on where you would like to sell deep out of the money calls.
Yeah, well, you know, we might have already saw it this morning. You know, we rallied. I was hoping.
I don't see it yet.
I really wanted to sell some calls if we got to like the 415 area, and we didn't get there today. So we got up to about 405, 406. I was looking for this level up in here, that big bar about 415, and I would sell that one, and I would probably sell, you know, 460 or higher strikes, because so what I like to do is look at the levels, right, and go, okay, here we are at 415, and we just came off of, you know, 360 something, you know, 368. So we just rallied $45, 10% if we had gotten here. Well, then I'd sell this strike out of here, because I'm thinking, well, you know, like the likelihood of us after moving 40 points, 42 points, going another 40 points, you know, by tomorrow, saying tomorrow's expiration is very light. So I would sell those, or I would sell next Friday's expiration with that intent. But it didn't happen for me today, but I'm still watching it, and look at it, 405 back to 385. So again, pick your levels. Sometimes you just have to sell a few, sell 10, you know, sell 5. If your max is 20 or whatever, you know, sell a little bit just to get in there. And, but I did not take this trade today. So,
all right, man.
But I would have
and again, another right side of a parabola. And at some point you would think that these equity indexes would show some of the same weaknesses that the individual stocks have been showing left, right, and center.
Well, here's the thing. Think about the news today. We had another, whatever, the ADP jobs report, not the big one, which was last weekend, but we had another jobs report this morning that said even, you know, fewer people are applying for benefits. What I want to know is how is Biden going to claim victory with 4 million new jobs created and still allow for the federal unemployment bonus benefits to be paid? Because I know he wants to keep that shit going. And so how do you tout the job recovery and still get through, let's keep paying the federal unemployment bonuses that we've been paying for the last year and a half? Because those come to an end September 1st. So it'll be interesting to watch like what the spin is. And I think we're going to see it in the next 3 weeks. You know, I think I think you're going to see more schools go remote from the elementary side. They're not going to go back to school, You can just kind of see it in this headline about Mississippi setting up shop in the, you know, in the largest hospital is setting up, you know, tents in their parking garage. I mean, come on. I mean, nobody, why, you know, so the cases are ramping, but the deaths aren't ramping. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Let's talk about something else tomorrow.
Let's talk about tomorrow.
Let's talk about it tomorrow. Right,
No,
please
but,
join us at marketmodels.io.
But
Please
coming back full circle, Bob. Like we brought the show in on this. You know, Bloomberg covering today the fact that
full circle, Matt. I got her here. All right, Jen, let's circle back on that. Oh, we're gonna circle back. Thank you, Jen. All right,
thanks, Jen.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I think the exhaustion levels are off the hook, and people are just they're tired. They're tired of the same, you know. This administration's got to think about how they're killing the joy in this country.
I certainly am fucking tired of it all. All right, Matt, you have a great day. You stay Cuomo-sexual if that's the way you are. Let's make Cuomo-sexual great again, because it used to be great until it wasn't great. Narratives, baby. It's all narratives.
By the way, there was a new House of Reps bill put in by a New York congressperson, man, I think. I don't recall who it was, but basically the bill that he put in there was, if you don't have a jab, you can't fly.
Yeah.
So these are starting to creep into your, you know, again, I don't see it going anywhere, but these crazy House of Reps, some of these people that are in there, you call your Congress people, please call them. I mean, it's your right as a citizen and as a voter.
Not only that, I mean,
not just to vote,
this unfolds rapidly when you need a fucking booster. Like, show me your booster papers.
Right.
We're going to do that forever?
Yeah. Well, that's why Moderna was up today, because boosters are coming now. Oh, boy.
Fuck, give me a booster chair up to the bar. All right, pal. I'll see ya.
Bye.